let's UV map this thing a little bit and figure out some of the other tools you have in UV mapping editor. So I deleted the other half, making sure that you're not duplicating your work. There's a lot of parts here that are the same for the most part. I could have UV mapped before dragging them down and scaling them, especially the fingers. The fingers would be one. So I'm going to delete some of them and do one good one and then rescale them because they are quite difficult. So I'm just going to delete that one and that one. And even the toe, which I had flattened the bottom of, make this little indentation, but it is the same piece. So I can leave it there just so I know what it looks like. But I'm just going to work on the big stuff first and then work my way around. So the cog wheels, definitely one of them. So this one here, if I look at this one, so it's just a regular cog wheel. And so we could look at some of the other UV mapping tools. So the cylindrical one right here, it's just the most annoying interface of the program. It's this little tiny red hairs right here. You can just barely see them. If you click on the red hair, that activates the universal control. Let me do that again. So go to each piece one at a time. Isolate the piece. If it's cylindrical, go to the cylindrical unwrap tool. It doesn't identify the flat tops of the surfaces at all. So you can see, just barely see the, let me go to different, see Alt B, there we go. So you can see the top half of the cylinder and the bottom half's right here. See, it's got to rotate at 90 degrees. So activate the little tiny red hair controller, activate the circle, and then rotate it 90 degrees. You can see I have it right up here, and I could manually type in 90. There we go. And simultaneously, you can look at it inside the UV map editor, and it should give you the sides and the top as well. Although I don't see that it's doing the top or the side. So let me see what just happened. It went away. Oh, darn it. So activate that, go to the side, rotate it 90 degrees. See, it's getting the top and the sides there. There we go. And we can get it to isolate in here as well. There we go. And everything's packed in the 0 to 1 space, so I'm just going to move it out of the way for right now. There we go. Now for this one, it is hard to get the seams because of the little teeth. Every time there's a 5-way intersection, it'll stop on the automatic unwrap. So if I double click that, it's not going to do anything. So I have to manually go around this whole thing, unfortunately, and unwrap it that way. But let's see if it just works. If we just double click the face here and do a Control U unfold, yeah, it doesn't work. So here's where the long, unfortunate task of doing these unwraps becomes problematic. Now I could do this. I could grab all the faces here and then deselect just the central cogs this way. So I'm getting the top, I'm getting each side perfectly flat, then give it a flat planar projection like that. And you'll see if I go to move, that gives me a good planar projection. Now, these two sets are called shells, right? All the faces that are connected together that don't connect to the other side of the other faces, they're separated by the cogs pieces, the teeth. If I double click once, I'm just going to get one shell and unoverlap it, right? Then I can grab this piece here, do something very similar. So I'm going to do the planar project, and there we go. And then pick one edge to be the seam. So I'm going to go into one of these edges in the edge by the tooth here and see if it's showing up here. Hit F on the keyboard. Yeah, it's hard to see. And then hit Shift X or cut. Then if I grab all of the faces for this one and hit Control U and unfold, F on the keyboard looks like, is that working for me? Did not work. Okay, so we'll just go to the cylindrical unwrap again. And once again, it's not going to detect which direction it should go. So you have to go in here manually, go to the circle for rotation, rotate it on 90 degree here, punch it in manually, hit F on the keyboard in here. There we go. That should work. If I hit Control U, now that whole thing's been unwrapped. Now to find out if this is correct or not, we can look at these pieces here and grab all the pieces and activate the checkerboard so you can see the checkerboards are nice and even. These are backwards though. They're correct on this side, right, going forward, but on this side they're backwards. So if you have backward UVs, you have to be careful. So if I click on one face and hit F in the keyboard in UV, it's going to tell me this shell is backwards. So go to Q so I don't accidentally move anything. Grab it, right click, and you should have a edit flip horizontal. Let's see. Where is the... There's so many on here. It is orient, straighten border, unfold, linear match, normalize. Oh my gosh. So many to choose from, right? And I didn't see it on there, so I'm pretty sure it's up here on modify. Let's find it. Here it is, modify flip. And so let's see if it flips it automatically. There it goes. Yeah, so it didn't ask me if horizontal or vertical, so that's okay. And you can see the inside here. If the checkerboards here in the inside, if I go Control U and unwrap that there, the checkerboards are now evenly distributed. So although it's cockeyed, we can get that mostly straight like that. And they're smaller, meaning this is oversized. So the bigger it is, the smaller the UVs go. So the more pixel resolution you have. But we want the pixel resolution to match the surface faces. So we're going to scale it all the way down until it gets just about right. And I could go even smaller because we're not going to see this interior loop. Now on the top on the outside, you'll see these ones are bigger. So this piece here could conceivably be larger until the checkerboards are about the same size. So I'll go right here and I'm just watching right here the size of this checker from here to here. That looks almost identical, pretty close. And it's a pretty big strip, so that's pretty normal. So I'll just kind of keep these off to the side for now so we know that that piece is done. Okay, let's go to the next piece here. We'll go to this little shoulder unit. So same thing. So click on it, isolate selection. Make sure you don't get anything else on accident, and do the same thing here for the selection. So I'm gonna go in here and we have everything selected that we want, and then very carefully go in here and deselect everything that's not on that flat face surface. There we go. And then check with that. Looks like I accidentally took this little piece off right there. So that whole flat piece right there should be very straightforward, easy with a planar projection. And you'll see that, of course, it's not. The planar projection won't do it. But that's okay. Once you do that, hit Q and then just hit Control U to unfold and move these up out of the way. Just grab just these faces right here. Whoa, what just happened? I think, did I have something else? Oh, I had all this stuff still selected. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so that's not good. There's all the pieces right there. Do a planar project and then hit Control U. Wiggle around, Control U. Move, get it out of the way. I won't unfold it. Okay, try this one. And what we don't want is we don't want it broken up into a whole bunch of weird pieces, right? Like that's just absolutely not what we want. And oh, I had some pieces selected here I didn't even see. So I should have gone to X-ray mode here. And it looks like X-ray mode's not working. Oh. Wow, have all that up there? Didn't even... Okay, so obviously I made some errors on what I was selecting. I thought I was just working on this piece by itself and then hit isolate, but I guess I had the head selected too without knowing it. Okay, so let's try it again. Grab all that, Control U, there we go. Now we got a nice even cogwheel selection. And same thing here, we'll move it up out of the way. See all this garbage though is just a hot mess really over here. So we can grab all this junk over here again and give it another planar project. But before we do that, I'm going to take away all of these teeth here again. So using Control to take away, see the little minus sign appearing. So taking away, taking all that away, and make sure I go into X-ray mode, which again is not working. in this view. Okay, yeah, see there's pieces over there that I missed. Is it too tight of an angle? And F on the keyboard. Maybe if I turn off checkerboard. Okay, yeah, checkerboard did not like X-ray mode. There we go. All right, and same thing, give it a unwrap. So we're gonna go planar project. Again, this time it did detect. Well, no, never mind, did not. And then hit Control U. And then switch over to move, and there we go. So, but you see it's giving them different sizes. So we do have to resize everything to be even to itself. So this one and this one here. If I go out of X-ray mode, turn on the checkerboard, there you can see that it is indeed pretty equal. And we can grab all this junk right here and just be sure about it. So turn off the checkerboard so we could see through. And there we go. So let's grab this interior one. This is easy. So grab one face, hold down Control and Shift. So it's a plus sign. Go to the one right next to it and double click. Automatically does the edge rings all the way around. You can see it's all this scatter of pieces all over the place. Give it a cylindrical unwrap. Grab the little red hair over here. Go to the rotation and get that cylinder shape. You see it down here as close as possible. Okay, once you've got it pretty close, go to the Move tool and hit Control U and it auto unwraps. And again, the scale's way off. So, yep, that was probably something you heard in the background, not me. Bring it over and Control U. And then grab all these little bits. You don't want to forget where all the bits are at. Hit F on the keyboard, making sure with X-ray mode that's got everything going. So you don't adjust and scale all the checkers yet. Get them all into good, reasonable shells like this first, because you don't want all this puzzle piece junk everywhere. So again, cylindrical unwrap, click on the red hair, go to the circle, go to the rotational circle, activate it, and make this cylindrical unwrap match the teeth as close as you can get them. There we go. And then hit F on the keyboard, and you see it's getting pretty close right here. Not bad. Try to keep it together with the other pieces. See, it's way, way off. This edge right here needs to be sewn up to this edge. Oh, we left a piece off right there. Okay, that's not good. So edge, Shift X, cut it, go to the face, and drag it off. And now we go to this edge, one, and then this one, two, Shift S, sew them together. Go to face, double click, Control U, and unwrap. And there you go. Nice, perfectly straight UV unwrap for the teeth of the cogwheel. So yeah, the cogwheel probably had an auto unwrap on it already, and it kind of blew it. I didn't leave the auto unwrap before doing a bunch of stuff to it, so that was on me. So for these ones here, I'm trying to get them about the right size and proportion to each other. That looks about right. So this is one cogwheel for the shoulder. This is another main cogwheel. Let's go out of isolation mode so we know both of those are done. Right, and we go back here to the torso. Just double click it one time and bring it over out of the way. And we could try this one here, right up here. This is the other automatic unwrapping that does kind of a 6 cube lattice. Why is it way down there? That's really strange. Should be right around the center of it. So it gives it 6 different parts that you could see is right here. So nothing great to write home about. So what I'd rather do with this piece, let's isolate this piece again. So you just got to isolate your character one at a time. And hard surface stuff to me, takes longer than the organic biped stuff. So we'll just do one flat UV unwrap on it with the planar unwrap. And then go to edge, double click, double click, double click, and double click, and one more double click. So all of these pieces right here, we go to X-ray mode. These are all going to be my seams. So I'm cutting these pieces so that these will be separate shells in between. So once I do that, I go into the UV editor, hit Shift X. That's your cut tool. right? So if I go into tools, the main ones are just the cut and sew. Cut, Shift X, sew, Shift S. Those are really, along with the modify, Control U, unwrap, those are the three main tools you need. Out of all 100 of these tools, you need 3 of them, right? So don't get lost in the mess, the chaos of all of these tools. They're pretty ridiculous. Okay, so that helps quite a bit. We'll come around to the side over here on the other edge, double click that edge and this one, and then come around the other side over here. High CPU usage alert. How'd that happen? Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, so I'm just going to take all the faces here for a moment and go to the move tool and the UV, and just going to bring them over here to their own little workspace so I can see a little bit easier. And then go back into edge mode, double click. Remember, whenever it's a 5 spoke, it's not going to know which way to go. You got to continue the edge loop, double click. And then come around over here, grab that one, and then double click. That one should continue all the way around and underneath. So that gives you the other side to this side, where the white line, the white border is your UV seam that's being cut, right? And then go into the Alt middle mouse, activate the window, Shift X, cut. You see it changes color there for you. That is correct. Then we can go into these faces here. You just grab this side of these faces right there, and then hit Control U, and voila. So as long as you get your seams cut, this becomes a much easier task than it would be otherwise. So I could do the same thing with these faces over here. I could just click on this face one time, double click. It should just get the pieces where I cut the seams earlier. Control U, bring it over, grab these interior faces here, double click, Control U, move it over, grab this face right here. That one's really hard to see, so let's grab the outer one over here first, double click. See, it goes all the way around. Probably want to cut the seam here, so let's go here and here, and then on the other side here and here. And where it comes where there's a protrusion, where it becomes a square, it probably needs a cut along right there. So like a cardboard box. Think of how a cardboard box lays down flat. That's how you want to think about these seams that you're cutting. There we go. So I'm cutting that piece there, and I want to do it the same way on both sides. As much as possible. Let's see, did I get the wrong one there? No, I got the right one. To there. Cut right there, and then go to the other side, do the same thing. Get out of the move tool. Don't want to accidentally move something while you're doing this. Could really waste making the selections for cutting your seams. That's the most cumbersome part of this whole process. So you want to be really methodical. Whoops, I might have gotten that wrong. Yep, I want it to be on the top, not down inside. Darn, and I don't want that one, that's for sure. That's an accident. Don't want either one of those for that matter. Yeah, it's not down in here. It's up on the top of the ridge. You'll see how this thing lays flat. And you can always change it afterwards, but go back in here now, Shift X. Go to face mode, double click, it'll grab the whole shell. See, now the seams are cut, it's not going to grab the part up top. So I could grab that and then this top part here, and Control U, unfold. There we go. There is your flattened out version of that upper portion of the chest. Double click, bring that over. And you can see if I turn on checkerboard for a moment, it's pretty even. There's no stretching really. Down in here, we haven't done this one yet because it was too hard to get, because I did the side view, it's all flattened right here. So if I get to that line, all these polygons are being shown from the side view. That's why it's like a stripes instead of checkers. So I just grab that, hit Control U. It should give me a perfect wheel. And it did not. I'll be darned. Okay, give it a flat planar projection. Still didn't, and then flatten it again. There it goes. And then it likes to push it all the way back to the 0. There we go. That's pretty darn good right there. Everything looks good for the torso. Nope, not the little post that we had sticking out. This little nib in the end should be real easy. Grab more than you need, take away what you don't need. There we go. It's the flat ends of that tube. Hit Control U. Oh, it needs to be cut. All right, let's cut it first. Go to Edge, double click, go all the way around, activate the window, Shift X, cut. All the faces are right there. Planar project, Control U, grab it, bring it over. Why is it doing that? There we go. So yeah, the size is all messed up. This is the most boring part to me. Some people like it, like treat it like a puzzle. So if you like doing puzzles, maybe you'll enjoy the UV mapping process. I just want to get to painting and modeling, but that's the way it goes. Okay, pick an edge on here. We'll do the edge down below. Always try and hide your seams in an area you won't see. Activate the seam, Shift X, cut it, go to faces, double click, Control U, unwrap it, and there you go. There's your perfect unwraps, all checkers, skewed ever so slightly. You want to align. There's all the alignment tools I won't get into though. I could go an hour just on the alignment tools, but I just want you to get this done, you know, rather quickly, as much as possible. Here's the other pieces over there. Let's see, we'll go out of the isolation. Oh yeah, that was the head. The head was wasn't too horrible, but for now, right now, this is our torso right here. So I'll bring the torso up here and out of the way. This cog's done, this cog's done, this cog in the heart in the front is not done, so I double click that, go to the move tool, bring the whole mess of UVs over here. Give it a project, and looks like it's not the worst this time. It's giving it a flat planar project from the front as well as from the side. I try and align it as close to center as we can. I don't know why my computer's lagging. 4090 video cards, 64 gigs of RAM, brand new processor. This shouldn't be that cumbersome. All right, let's see what it looks like over here. Bring that out. Pretty decent with the front and the back, at least. Those parts are not too bad. The cog, the teeth on the sides are brutal though, so I just want to grab edge or face, grab the one right next to it, and hold down Control, Shift, double click, and that should go all the way around an edge ring, all the faces for the teeth all the way around. That's gonna be pretty helpful, so I can grab that mess right there, give it a cylindrical unwrap. Almost never correct. Hit the red wire, hit the rotate circle, activate it so that it will go 90 degrees. The channel box works temporarily while you're in that mode of the tool. You see that's pretty close. See the checkers are still squished. You could modify them here with the scale tool and bring them, whoops. No. Scale tool. Okay, that didn't work. Yeah. Still kind of a crappy tool. Once you have that activated, hit Control U and just unfold it, and that should give you your nice flat set of the tines, the cog teeth. Yeah, there we go. And they should be relatively square. Yep, they are. This one here, similarly, where'd it go? It's right there. Control U. Let's see, how far in does that go? Oh, is that the... Oh shoot, that was the chest that's already done. I got that mixed up. I should go in here to faces, double click that, and isolate just there. Yeah, there we go. So I don't mess around with stuff I shouldn't be messing with. Grab that inner part, F on the keyboard. Cylindrical, red wire, rotate. Where'd it go? It's really hard to see sometimes. There we go, 90 degrees, and Control U. There we go. Bring it over. What's left is this mess up here. I think that was all the, yeah, it's all the inner parts that go with the interface. Instead of leaving this mess all inset, I'm going to grab that and this one all together And I'm going to reproject that with just a flat planar projection. And even though, of course, it's not going to do the right angle position on there, we can rotate it the right way here and then activate scale and then rotate it another 90 degrees and the circle, and there we go. If we can get it close, there we go, that's close enough. That's going to work. Go to move tool, bring it over, make sure you have everything selected, and control U, and there we go. Control U, your automatic unfold is your best friend. That's under modify unfold. You just got to have the edges, the seams cut so that the piece can easily unfold. Any hard bends or folds, like over 20, 30 degrees of a turn or a bend, you'll have to cut an edge and relax. So study your cloth patterns for clothing and such, and that should really guide you on this. So this should be all good to go. So I just marquee drag all these spaces. Yep, looks good. And then if I hit Control U and unfold them all together, they're not scaling. There was a scale trick to go up here and scale them all together. There's transform, but I'll come back to that once I look it up again because it's been a while since I've done that one. Lately I've just been manually scaling, just trying to find a checkerboard to benchmark like this one, and then make sure all the other ones are the same size. So I know that these two sides should be the same. And the alignment tools to get these two align right, I've never trusted them over the years. So that's close enough to me. The front and the back are, defined. Then I can grab these two here and scale them so that the inside and the top outside ones are, I think the inside one's about right, but the outer one definitely is not, as too small. You see the checker's big, meaning it's too small. So scale it up until the checkers are about the same size as the front faced ones. So a little smaller still. There we go. That's close enough. And then if they're hard surface things, you want to get the edges nice and straight, try and align them. Show you some of the alignment tools later. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, so that's another cogwheel down. Bring it up here. The chest is done. The cogwheel and the shoulder is done, or the shoulder blade, I should say, back in the scapula. The shoulder blade here at the deltoid is done. And we can scale those to be about the right proportion to each other. And then we can just assemble them all together once we're done. So here's the head. So we're not quite done. So yeah, it takes a good half hour to an hour to do a complex character like this. It's just the nature of the beast. So grab the neck. And that is another cylindrical shape. It's got an open cap on the bottom and closed cap on the top. So we'll give it a flat planar project. Switch over to edge mode and cut the seams. So I'll just cut a seam on the top here. So we'll go right here in the inner section. So one there. And go back into here, activate Alt middle mouse to activate it, Shift X to cut. You see it changes color. Then grab the whole thing. Oh, you want to cut your seam for this in the back of the neck. So this is the front of the neck right here. So we want to do it in the back. So we'll go to this part right here. And if I can go back here and isolate it again, back to edge mode, we'll go very carefully here and up to the top. So we're looking at the inside of this thing. You see the white border, that's your seams are cut, and right to there should be good. And then activate the Shift X cut. Okay, should be good. So I just cut my seam. I did a flat planar project first and then cut my seam. So same way we did the biped to the human, and then grab the whole thing, Alt middle mouse and Control U, double click, and voila. That is the neck for this character, and bring it up. They're in proportion to each other. They're almost right. You see this top piece is the checkerboard smaller, so that means this piece is or the checkerboard's bigger, which means it's too small. So we want to scale that so the checkerboard's the same as the outside. And then grab that whole thing and go out of isolation mode, check it against the chest. It's way too big. And then scale it, the whole thing down, so it's roughly the same as the front of the chest. There we go. Okay. Get the head done next. So the head wasn't looking too bad. We'll go and isolate that selection first. So I'll just do a flat planar project on it. Switch over to edge mode and we'll make a lid out of it like we did the human head. So cut an edge there. Maybe take off the first four here for the front around the forehead. Go to the back of the skull and continue down underneath. From the back of the head down underneath here, and then go around underneath the, do a lid, double click, go all the way, whoops, control shift, double click, and then maybe leave a hinge here also near the neck. That should be good. Okay. Go into this window, Shift X cut, go to face mode, double click, and move it up here. Control U. There we go. So you see the cut worked well. It looks like we didn't cut all the way around underneath here though. Oh, that's really strange. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just cut the rest of that off. So there we go. And then Shift X. Looks like it's still connected right there. And there it goes. Now it has room to relax. Control U and Control U. There we go. And you got the inside of the mouth as well. So go around here to the inside of the mouth and looks pretty good though. Not too bad. We could go and reconnect these two here. Shift S to sew them back up. Go back to faces. Double click Control U. There we go. And so that is a pretty good complete face or head. Say. So we can bring that up to the head usually gets the most love, get the most pixels showing on the head. All right, that's getting there, about halfway done. Yeah, the isolation mode. Let's do the hat and the bill. I guess we'll just do the bill first. Isolate selection and do a flat planar project on it. Okay, go to edge mode, go around the side here, and see if I can get the faces. Double click, see if it goes all the way around. It does, goes all the way around. Top and bottom, it does. Let's see if this works. Grab that. Actually, let's grab the whole thing first and move it out of the way so we can focus on it. Okay, and then try that again. There it goes all the way around. Go in here and Shift X, cut. No, it's going to cut every single edge. Undo that. That's no good. So it's going to stretch everything. Yeah, it is. Stretching all of that stuff. Grab all of this. That's going to be the top and the bottom. Let's see if we can get just the top and just the bottom. So very carefully. And again, you could go to X-ray mode if you turn off the checkerboard. Get rid of all this internal stuff in here. Don't want any of it. And hopefully, if you look at it really carefully, and see we just got the upper portion. Dang. I thought we'd get all the ends as well, so I'll just add these manually. Yeah, I think clicking on UV mapping probably did more damage to my hand than anything, so take breaks, do it in bursts. Don't try and UV map everything in one shot. You don't want to do it for more than an hour or two. If you do 8-10 hours of UV mapping at a time, it's pretty horrible. Let's see if this auto one works. Looks like that did work pretty well. Yeah, that's nice. Perfect. That's the exact shape we want, right? So now we can go in here. Let's get the middle one out of the way too. Grab this one all the way around and cylindrical unwrap and Scale it. Looks like a little bit better. Move it over. Control U. Rotate it and scale it down to about the right size. With the top, it's way too big. You can tell by the distance from the black and the white checker on there. That's just about right. Okay, what's the rest of this looking like? It's the side and the top, so if I can get it just right here on the angle. That, and then deselect one long marquee drag so I can get just the top here again, and do that trick again and get another just right unwrap. And move that over, and you see those top and the bottom should match up perfectly. They do. Great. Grab all of this right here, and it just needs one seam to cut. So let's just pick one edge here. So we'll grab this edge right there. Shift X, cut the edge, and then grab all of it and whoop, make sure we don't get any of this stuff on accident. There we go. And then Control U. And yeah, another long cog. The tines, the teeth, the cog are now, and you see it's way too big, so bring it down to the reality. No, it's still too big because the checkers are smaller, so it's giving more pixel resolution, right? There we go. That's pretty close. And let's see if we move it. Is that about right? I think so. Yep. Okay, so there's the hat. Just the bill of the hat, actually. So I'll put that up by the head, maybe up here somewhere. Whoa, it doesn't like that. I wonder why. Oh, I'm on edges. If I just do faces, there we go. Faces will get it by itself. And with all those tines in the way, you can break them up at the edge seams because you're not going to see the texture map seams inside the edges of these teeth. So don't worry about that too much. Make sure it's in the correct direction too. Make sure it's not flipped backwards. It's easy to forget to check that while you're going. Okay, let's do this top part of the hat. That was the lid. Here's the cap. Double click, grab the whole thing, bring it out, do a flat planar project on it. Should be good. Isolate selection, and this one's pretty easy, I think. Double click that, it goes all the way around. Go in here, Shift X, cut. We have all the pieces inside of here. This one's pretty deep, so we might have to actually do each of these squares all the way around for the teeth. So it's kind of a cool design, but if I double click that, it does go all the way around. So double click all the way around the whole thing. Turn off checkerboard for a moment and turn on X-ray mode maybe. There we go. And double click, double click. Crazy, my computer's chugging right now. Brand new computer. And it's not even a very high poly model. It's the funny part. So yeah, Maya is just Maya. Maya. Double click. Not the most exciting thing to watch. And X-ray mode that again. There we go. So a little bit easier. Double click. Make sure they're all orange around that top border. Good. Go into the window. Shift X. Cut, and it looks like I didn't drag the whole thing. I thought I did drag the whole thing out from that middle portion. Oh yeah, after I did the fresh planar project, it puts everything back to the center again. All these little teeth up here should be, because they protrude out, I can kind of grab them a little easier than before. So grab all these tines up here. They're sticking up, Control Shift. So just a few drags. If I get at the right angle, I should be able to grab them without getting anything below. Yep, there we go. And so those can be broken off with a flat planar project. Again, it'll push it down into the 0 to 1 space down here. And then for each of these, each one needs to have a cut on it. to be able to unfold. So unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast with these guys. So I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to grab all the edges, the lower portion of these here, not the tops. So this would be like flattening out a little 5-sided cube box, right? So grab those and then Shift X, cut, go to face mode, grab all of them, and then Control U, unfold. And you can see how each one looks. Each one should look like a little star. Like that. Pretty cool. So grab all of these. We can lay them all out together. There we go. The little layout tool. And it's a little closer. There's the hat over here. Oh, and be careful I don't get the hat mixed up with the chest part. Yeah, I was starting to get, because they both have the indented, the insets in there. So coming back up here to the top of this hat, go out of isolation mode for a moment, go to the back of the cap, and we're going to grab it down this back edge right here, so right there. So 1, 2, 3, go out of X-ray for a minute, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's about right, just all the way around the edge there. Yep, Shift X, cut it, go to faces, double click, Control U, and that looks pretty good. Let's see what it looks like with the checker put on. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, that's really good. We saw all these interior pieces in here to get. So let's find where all of those are. They're over here. There we go. Okay, and for that, we'll just hit Control U and bring them over the rest of the hat. And it looks okay. Yeah, all these little pieces here have to be arranged. There we go. Yep, and you don't want them touching for a lot of reasons. So unfortunately, there's padding in the layouts. There's a pixel distance. So if we grab all of these, do pixel distance, I'd say pixel distance should be 2. It's not allowing me to. Okay, to distribute. Anyway, I'll come back to that. Should be good enough to get done. Looks like I might have missed one right here. So go to edge, double click, go in here and find where I missed it. The F on the keyboard. Yep, missed it. There's no cut seam there. Shift X and go to face, double click, and bring it over with the rest of the faces and make sure that it is scaled up to about the right size. There we go, so the teeth. Okay, lid of the hat mostly done. We could do this interior part for the lid of the hat. That might be another good place to cut that, cut UV seams. So we could go in here and grab, I'll just grab more than I need, right, in traditional fashion here. So grab all of this. Okay, there we go. And then take away 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that right there, I think we could use a flat planar project on that. And then unfold it and bring it back over. There we go. And then just scale that down so that it fits very nicely. And then with this one here, Control U, that gives it a little bit more flexibility to relax the unfolding algorithm. So when you're cutting patterns for clothing, a lot of times you'll cut seams and then join them up and sew them up. So just consider that possibility as you're doing this. So there's the hat. Head's done. Getting there. Neck is done. We still got to do the limbs. We still got to do the arm, the finger, the rest of the torso, the pelvis region, socket, and leg. So we got a little bit of ways to go still. So let's get to it. So I'll just keep on going. So I'll grab that piece here and bring it over. Flat planar project. Double click that one. Planar project. Double click that one. And that one. Planar project. And I think we didn't do this cogwheel. Nope. And giving them each their own, so they might be a little easier to grab and cut seams for. We'll see. All right. Oh yeah, of course, this one. That's gonna be brutal. I put a lot of teeth in that one. So yeah, note to self: tread lightly when doing a bunch of cogwheels, so you don't have to do a 2-hour UV unwrap for your model. Boo. All right. So grab that one. Grab it. So see, it's. Oh boy, I hope I got my auto back set up. We're about to find out. Yeah, so Maya just crashed and it gave me a crash report. So we'll see how much work I lost. Hopefully not too much. Looks like everything I had been working on. Looks like it's okay. I'll see. Yep, I was just doing the cogwheel. And so note to self, you probably export this, bring it to a fresh scene and just work on it by itself. Having the parts library and his other models and all that stuff in there, you never know. I could also take this model, do an OBJ or FBX export and re-import it, make sure that everything's working okay. So we'll see how this is going here. I got these pieces left to do, along with the pelvis and the hip socket. So I'm now at 45 minutes. So yeah, if I get this whole thing done in an hour and half, hour and 15 minutes, that's pretty good for a model of this complexity. You can see it compared to my other speed models. They're just discs that were stretched. This one had a lot more thought put into it with the swivels and the wheels and the cog wheels. So, you know, you got to pick your poison in your simplicity. That's why these are good demo models just to test with and get a bot and get a good guy. And then as you're doing your visual development, as you're designing your style and the cogs and sockets and what parts make up the most of the robots in this world and how they pick up things and what you had in your visual development, pillars of your design, considering all that stuff becomes really important. So I'm just grabbing this stuff and kind of unoverlapping it. Remember, just do the half and make it symmetrical. Don't do the whole thing. Lower upper leg, lower leg, oops, foot, and toe. Finger. What's all this stuff over here? Oh, I had one cogwheel left in the hip. And what's all this junk? F on the keyboard, and it's the eyeballs. Of course, totally forgot about the eyeballs. So eyeballs, planar project. For sure. Do them first. And they should be identical. Yep. And we'll grab both of them. And we'll isolate the eyeballs for a moment. Okay, pretty easy to do. Go to edge mode. They are the same. I could delete one half of the eyeball and make it symmetrical over to the other side. So I'll just do that. And delete. Yep, don't do any work you don't have to do, right? So go to edge mode, double click, activate it in here, and Shift X, and let's see if I can get this background darker. There we go. Oh wow, that's way easier. And go to the front here, double click. Shift X. You go to the inside, double click. Shift X, go inside of here. And Shift X, grab the whole thing. And Control U. And unoverlap. There's the eye. Whoops. There's the inside of the eye. There's the casing around the outside. Probably want to cut a seam underneath here. Yes, we do. So let's grab the edge right there. And there, Shift X, cut, double click, Control U, and you'll see, there we go. We'll get a much better checker pixel space for it. After doing that, the flat one should be left flat. This the inside part here is probably too big compared to the part of the eyeball. This is the back side here. That's the part you'll see the least. So make sure we identify that. This part here is the front casing. Probably going to see that pretty well. Control U again, just to make sure. And then, yeah, that's pretty good. So we could arrange and stack these a bit, like so. But I don't know, it's kind of creating a bit of a stretch there. So I'll hit cut on that one and then unwrap it again and let that get a little bit more relaxed like we did with the this piece here. Way too big. There we go. And then double click. And then double click. I'm not checking to see if it's backwards or forward. They can be flipped. So just kind of be aware. Here's the inside of the eye. Bring that over. Make sure it's upright. Make sure we know at the top if we want to do a design in the eyeball. So click on that. Click on that face right there. We know that these two faces are upright. We know that's the upper left, that's the upper right, bottom left, bottom right. Cool. Everything looks good. So that's our eyeball. Compared to everything else, I'm going to take the eyeball and bring it up by the head in the hat and then shrink it down a bit. So we'll know when we mirror it, we're going to have half of it ready. So have the left half and the right half. All right, so the eyeball's done. Cool. Head's done. Hat lid done. Or there we go. Top of that, and all the little pieces in there done. Let's see, what is that one? Okay, hip socket. Let's continue. So grab the arm and isolate the arm. Okay, just a few. So we need to cut one seam. So we're going to go underneath the arm for sure. So we'll go edge here, double click that edge. One nice long seam. Goes all the way to the back here. We don't want the seam up here, and we don't want it to go all the way around to the top. So I want to take all that away. There we go. We do want it at the end, so double click all around there. We want it on this end as well. So we can double click. Looks like, oops. F on the keyboard, make sure we could see. Yep. Looks okay. Maybe we don't need the seam under here either. Those rounded parts. I don't think we need it too much here. I will leave it. That's fine. Okay, Shift X. Face mode. Grab it all. Control U. And oof. Okay, so it needs to be cut free still. So where's this piece at here? Is that piece cut free? It is. What about all of that? Okay, so that one, I thought we had a seam. Okay, we need to cut it here. There. Okay, Shift X, cut, and Control U. There we go. Yep. That's a strange shape. Is that right? Let's see if this checkerboard's. Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's right. It just scales things funny. I wish it would just stay uniform scale. There we go. And then that end's way too big. There we go. That's about right. You could tell by the spaces, like if the edge of this face here is the same size as that one, you'll see that's really, really close. And there we go. So that vertex and that vertex would kind of align. Yep. Okay, let's continue. Grab the rest of this. Looks like I have a seam to cut right there. So we'll go back to the edge there. Where's that at underneath? Yeah, it looks like I should have left that seam all the way underneath to give it a place to cut and relax. I think this one here will help as well. So I'll cut that one. And cut that one. Shift X. And that seam cuts all the way around. Okay, I think we're pretty close. Let's see. That's out. We'll get this stuff out of the way a little bit so we have space. Grab all that. Control U. And there it goes. Pretty good. Yep. So again, scaling issues. So looks like that part. Pretty good size for this whole piece right here. That's the back side over here. You'll never see it, so we can make that extra small. There's the piece in the front, which is about the right size compared to the, what would be the humerus if it was human. And up here is the other one, so we can cut in here and cut here. And again, right here, those two edges here, Shift X, cut, face, grab all of them, and unwrap. There we go. That's going to be your nearly perfect UV unwrap for that. Might be a bit large still, so we'll scale them down so they're proportionate. So the checkers are about the same size everywhere. It's pretty close. There we go. Maybe the puzzle piece part. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna take a minute to do that. So that's upper arm. So we'll bring it to the upper quadrant up here for now, I guess. It almost makes you want to just duplicate this piece I just did and do the lower leg, but it's all good. Might as well just finish this thing up. Here's the lower arm and forearm piece. There's the palm. And the palm and the foot are almost identical, but whoa, it spun around too quick. There it is. All right, so have a planar project on there already. Let's see, where does it make sense to do this thing at? We'll isolate our selection and go to edge. Cut where this form piece comes out right there first, and as well as going all the way around here and here. So those will be our first cuts. Shift X, cut those. Then maybe along the bottom here, that, and along the front, like that. So looking at it like a cube, like a cardboard box. I think that's going to work pretty good. So Shift X, go to unwrap, Control U, and see how we did with the first shot. And oh, it stayed connected all the way around, huh? I thought I got that edge cut right there. Looks like I missed it. Shift X, unwrap, there we go. Didn't make too much of a difference, but this piece is certainly separate from this cylindrical piece here. So you want to make your UV seams where the materials would naturally be joined and cut and connected together. That's always a good rule of thumb to have. Okay, here's the upper part. Here's the lower part. And that is the lower end. Oh, I guess I cut it off the bottom edge too. I could grab this edge and this edge, Shift S, get them sewn together, double click so they're all one shell, and then unwrap, and there we go. That's what I wanted. So this front end has as little UV seams as possible going around it. All right, let's take this lower piece here, and let's see, when I get inside of here, this is probably where it needs the most. So right at this edge here, so double click that, and then here as well. And double click there. Try and do the same thing in the upper part. Okay, Shift X, cut. Grab all the faces and unwrap. And then, ooh, looks like it did a nice job. I might scale these down just so they kind of stay combined easily with each other. There we go. And then turn on checkerboard. See, its checkers are nice. Yeah, worked really well. Do the same thing here. Double click, move it over. Scale it in just enough so it fits in there. Like, keeping sure you have a few pixels of padding. Grab this one, scale it in just a bit. There we go. And so that's the upper and that's the lower half. So that was a bit of work. A few more minutes, but that's the forearm in a nutshell. It's going to be a nice, you could put some really great detailed pixels on an unwrap like that. These, assembling all these is going to take some work. So we'll get to that in a minute. And we'll keep going. Get the cog over here. So I select the cog, the hip, grab these faces here. There it goes. Give it a cylindrical unwrap. Make that cylinder match the, there you go, to zoom out so I can see that circle. It's such a poor interface. There's that little tiny red hair down there again. And we want this cylinder hoop to match the circumference, the roundedness of the cylinder itself. There it goes. That is pretty close. Whoops. Yep. And then Control U. There we go. So there'll be a lot of these long strips for the tines. And then go back to face mode. You got the front and the back. Let's get the inner part first. So grab that. Actually, let's create this edge seam first. So go around this one, Shift X, grab one edge here so that has space to unwrap. Shift X, and then we go into grab all of them, Control U. And this should work. Oops. One side, two side, and the inside. Yes, and the inside one maybe is too small. There we go. And the tines look okay. Maybe the tines are a little too small for the overall size of it as well. There we go. And then grab the whole thing. And for the leg, we'll put it, whoops. We'll put the leg down over here, the lower right side, and keep going. So we got this one next, then upper leg, lower leg, foot toe, rear arm, lower arm. Okay, those are pretty good. yeah, let's do the hand and toe. So I'm just going to UV these and then replicate them and bring them down so they have the same UV unwraps. Since UV unwrapping takes longer than the modeling itself, that's when you know when to cut your losses and just move them again. So make this easy on ourselves. So double click that one. And Shift X, and then go underneath here. Yeah, when I was modeling this, I kind of knew this was going to be a bear, but double click that one, double click that one. Shift X, and then go out of isolation for just a moment. Yeah, we'll do the seam underneath in the backside over here. So isolate that, and then go to edge mode, and then double click that all the way up. Don't want it to the top there, nor there. Just there and there. Okay, Shift X and Control U. And so I could have left these sealed. Didn't necessarily have to close up the edges there. I just wanted to show you what would happen if I did. That's a little tiny piece right there that maybe I should have kept as part of this one down here, but c'est la vie. Oh, where'd the bottom go? There it is. Almost missed it. Let everything. Look carefully to get underneath the lid here. I can't see. I think I did not. Yeah, it's right there. Oof. Easy piece to miss. Yeah, watch out for those sneaky pieces like that. It's not pretty. Missing little chunks like that can cause artifacts and flickers and all kinds of weirdness in game or when you're rendering for your animation. And pack them a little bit tighter. Yeah, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on the packing part. You can spend hours on that. The auto unwraps for those are not too terrible. So that was the palm of the hand, right? So we had the forearm here, and then palm of the hand here. So the hand is certainly smaller than the forearm. So we'll make that proportionately, make it smaller. Yeah, looks like that piece got shrunk a little too much or blown up of all things. Okay. And then all these other pieces you'll never see. Wow, that one's really big. And there's the palm. Yeah, palm's way too big. There we go. And if you can get them just inside of another one, right, go ahead. Even though it's not exactly the position. It'll go nicely there. Okay, cool. There's the palm. Do the finger. Finger was similar to the forearm, but had the knuckles on it, so a little more complicated. And we'll isolate the finger and turn off checkerboard since it's kind of in the way. And first things first, cut our seams. So we'll go underneath here. And start with the portion that inserts right here. And then see if we can go all the way to the end right there. That'll work out okay. And then up around where it comes to the little padding part. Fill my computer chugging. I don't know if I should export this as an OBJ right now and just be done with it or wait. Let's see here, almost done. Shift X. And go to the face, control right click, go to shell. That helps as well. Goes to the UV shell, kind of like double clicking the faces for whatnot, and control U. Yeah, that's a nice unfold right there. Look at that. That's the whole finger. If I put the checker on, near perfect. So the box, thinking of it as a cardboard box, like how you'd flatten a cardboard box. Super helpful in tackling how to do this right. Okay, we'll get underneath here and grab the edge. Double click right there. And do another double click right there. Cut both of those edges. Shift X, go to the top, do the same thing. Double click and double click. Shift X. And unfold it, double click, and you can see this one needs to be relaxed. It needs that edge cut out right here. So that edge to there and this edge to here. I double clicked them, so I gotta be really careful where I cut them at. Looks like they're okay. Yeah, right there. Make sure there isn't any other spots that may be affected. It's just cutting here and here. Because as they go under and underneath and back and behind, that's where they get kind of sketchy. So watch what happens here. Shift X, go to face, double click, Control U. Nice. Bingo. That is the winner. That one, that one, that one. Control U. That is our finger. So we want to scale all those correctly so that we can replicate the finger. Oh yeah, that's nice. There's the top of the finger. There is the bottom of the finger. And you can see the checkerboard's really tiny, so the finger, of course, has way more scaled size than it needs to be. So I'm going to go way down small with it right now. There we go. Get it. Now, if you want the fingers in camera for like doing some robotic sign language or some other interesting thing with it, of course, you know, make stuff bigger or smaller based on what you're going to see in a shot or in game. Plus and minus sign make your gizmo bigger and smaller, so I'm kind of been adjusting those a lot. Oh, that's the front. That's right. And this is the back. We'll see if this is the top. Yeah, that's your top part of the finger, top of the thumb, and or digit and bottom of the digit. Both are actually a little small, so I'll grab them both and scale them up so the checker's a little bit more even. There we go. Okay, there's a finger. Woohoo. Just got to do this lower portion over here and then scale everything together, pack it, and we have a professional level UV unwrap for this model. This is the part I've been dreading the most, so let's tackle that before wait too much longer and turn off checkerboard for just a moment. So yeah, just doing the parts that are easiest first. So let's get the edge here. One, double click there, go to the bottom of that tube in the center, double click, and then pick an area that you're never going to see. So 1, 2, 3, go in here, Shift X, go to face mode, grab it, and Control U. And we'll see, there's the entire, yeah, there's the interior right there. So that kind of clears all that mess out of the way right away. Then we can grab all of these faces here from the top, take away the bottom, and take away the inside. There we go. Do a flat planar project with the Control U. There we go. That's the top. That's what we wanted right there. Then come around here. These ones. Click one, double click next to it. Click one, double click next to it. There we go. Let's see if I can get all these in one shot. And then all the bottom. Oops, Control plus Shift. Take more than I want, take away what I don't want. And then give it a flat planar project. There we go. There's all those little pieces. Beautiful. Okay, here's all the tines. Okay, so for the tines, we just got to pick one edge all the way down the side here. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we get underneath there before? I thought we did. 5, 6, I think that's enough. Cut and go to faces. You can see where the cuts are right there. 1, 2. Yep, that looks right. Okay, this should work. Control U. Nice. There we go. There's all of our little bacon strips, I call them. The tines. So usually kind of rotate and stack all these guys up. There's the biggest one up top. It's just got a bit of a diagonal indent, so it's not going to be perfectly straight. And there's the one down below. It's the smallest one. It's curved quite a bit. Make sure I didn't get anything unnecessary there. Nope, looks like we're good. And this one here is just above that one, so we'll move that like so. And this one here, next one up. And one more up. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. Great. And so all of this mess goes together. So we'll turn on checkerboard, grab all of it for that mid part, and you can kind of see some are bigger, some are smaller. This piece up here, this is definitely a little bit oversized, so we'll scale that down. And this one here looks like it might be a bit too small. Yeah, it looks like some of these flatter parts got shrunk down a little bit. That one's not too bad. That one and that one. That one. Oh, okay, they're both right on top of each other. Okay, easy enough. Okay, make those a little bit bigger. Yeah, so I get for doing cogwheels. Hey, you gotta do the fun stuff. You don't want to not do stuff because you have to UV unwrap it. That's I've actually had that happen before, but you know, just kind of center some of these up a little bit. Yeah. Fill the space in with them as much as you can. There we go. So this is called UV packing. So you see arrangement and packing tools and the align. There's the unfold and optimize, along, fold along, straighten shells. There's a whole bunch of tools in there. But that should be good enough for that. Just a couple pieces left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go ahead and exit out of there. So far, the one that's smallest, that's not reading well, is this one right here. So we F focus on that one. Come over here and simply double click that. Where'd my scale tool go? Oh, there we go. And scale it up so that the checkers on that look about right. And that one's around the outer border and can go inside there. Looks like maybe both of them can go inside of that bigger one, so I'll shrink them down. So they're concentric. There we go. Maybe isolate for just a moment. Yeah, it's the inside, never going to see it. So that's a good choice there. And so on and so forth. So I think that's about enough for this one. So I hope you don't get caught into too much UV hell. But yeah, it's better to do the UV and then replicate the pieces afterwards, and then just do some slight scaling than UV mapping every single piece. If they're identical pieces on your model, just UV map the one piece and replicate it and delete the other one. So that way you don't have to do every single piece. Okay, we'll come back and do some texture mapping in Photoshop.